Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Healing Numbers 22. I'm here today with my dear friend Dorothy, who's an astrologer, the go-to astrologer. And we're always talking about, we always get together to discuss Mercury Retrograde, which is coming around on December 13th and leaving us on January 1st, right?
That's
January
correct.
1st?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Dorothy. How are
Hi.
you?
Hi, everybody.
We're back again.
I
It goes so
know.
quickly. But you
It
know what? I did
does.
hear there's only 3 this year.
Hmm?
3 retrogrades, not
Typical.
4.
That's typical.
Oh, okay.
Well, there was actually 4 in 2023 because we
Okay.
started the year. Let me look at my ephemeris. We started 2023. Sorry if there's noise. I'm going to we started 2023 with a retrograde, and we end the year with a retrograde, and there were a couple in between. So we actually, sometimes they wiggle into 3 or 4. So no worries.
Okay. Okay.
It averages, it mainly is 3, and sometimes we'll have like a week or something where it's at one end of the year or the other, and so it's almost 4.
Interesting.
So yeah, that's not that overall is, it's just the calendar.
Yeah, there you go. There you
It's
go.
just the calendar.
Yeah.
Mercury's going to do his thing about every 3 months or so, 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
He does the retrograde. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's good to have him
It is.
because he slows things down for us.
Indeed. Mercury is the messenger. And so he moves along pretty quickly and fast, and ruler of, we're going to get a little astrology here, but he's the ruler of Gemini and Virgo. And that is, those two are about the Gemini, like you and I are both Geminis. It's like information highway, man. It's just coming and coming and coming and coming, right? And the Virgo that Mercury is in charge of, in its natural placement, it moves through all the signs throughout the year, but in its natural placement, the other one is Virgo, and that's about the details. And so wherever Mercury's moving, when it's moving at a normal pace, which you don't have to pay attention to that, but the thing is like we're getting information really fast. So when we have these opportunities for Mercury retrograde, that gives us the opportunity just to integrate some of whatever it is we've been currently working on. So to say that Mercury stations, which means it stops, from our perspective, it never stops. We're all continually moving, honest. But the retrograde is on December 13th at 8 degrees of Capricorn. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But the stationary days are the days that we might feel a little frustrated. Like, what the heck? It's just like, honest to God, it's just like this. We're recording this on Zoom. All of a sudden, the other person freezes, and they're still there. Or then all of a sudden, it's just blurry, and their mouth isn't matching their voice. That's Mercury retrograde. That's the stationing. Just as a modern example, that's the stationing to me of Mercury retrograde, where it's like it breaks up.
I love your analogies.
I try. I just wanted to make it real. I don't want to make it so woo-woo that we just don't get it. I want you to understand, it doesn't mean you can't do things. I mean, we're always fighting that tide, right? It just means that I want us to slow down and to evaluate. And we'll get into that in a minute, the zodiac signs, because this retrograde that starts on December 13th in Capricorn as a retrograde planet, and it finishes its retrograde on January 1st, 2024 at 22 degrees of Sagittarius. Yeah, 22. I love the double numbers. And so we're going to talk about that as we go through today's little broadcast, if you will. And so December 13th and January 1st, those are 2 days that things can feel rather rugged, or just like you're not getting all the information you want, or there's just some sort of disconnect in our communication, whatever that is. We all have our own lives, right? And so maybe we're just disconnecting at work. Mercury in Capricorn. Maybe we're not quite getting the message. We didn't get the assignment. The email didn't come through. Again, real logical, practical things. And just as a side note, January 1st, Mercury is stationary. That's not the day to do your New Year resolutions. Wait, we have to, I want you to wait until the new moon in January. And I think that's the 11th. I just did the monthly forecast for my Patreon group last night for Capricorn. Yes, the new moon is on January 11th. Just again, as a side note, that's when you would want to do, you know, how you do vision boards and stuff like that. Wait until after the new moon. Okay.
Nice.
The new moon's in the middle of the week. And if you want to do it on a weekend to gather with people, just do it the Saturday, Friday or Saturday after the 11th of January. So this is how these are the things that are going on. It's just like station at 8 Capricorn, feeling very, things are very logical, very practical, but there's some sort of misconnection, disconnection of sorts. Yeah. And I want you, I'm always throwing out dates because astrology is patterns and cycles, and some of them repeat. And they're never exactly the same, but they repeat so we can get some insight. This is why it's really good to journal when something important is going on in life. I want you to look back to January 17th, 2023. January 17th, 2023, because we started 2023 with Mercury retrograde. And on that day, Mercury was stationed at 8 degrees of Capricorn. That's not common. Out of 360 degrees, it's stationed at the same number in the same year, twice in the same year. So January 17th, 2023, it was stationed to go direct. And now on December 13th, 2023, it's at 8 degrees of Capricorn, stationed to go retrograde. So that means something to you. Look back. Were you feeling some frustration? It's Capricorn. So that would be about, it's business oriented, it's reputation oriented, career oriented, contracts that are important to you, ambitions, all of those things could have just come to a screeching halt, or you just some way, somehow missed something, and it might come to your attention right now.
Can I say something?
I'm going to pause right there so you can go. I know that was a long
it's
one.
interesting that you use that it's 8. Because 2024 is a universal year, will be 8 for us.
Right.
And 8, when we write 8, right, what goes around comes around, right?
Right.
So it goes into the light, goes into the dark. We have to revisit. We have to, it's a karma number, which isn't a bad thing. Karma isn't always bad, you know. It's just something we have to revisit and we have to relook at. So I wonder if the January 17th, 2023, that 8 degrees didn't start something that, and it's gone its cycle.
Oh,
and
how
it's coming
wonderful.
back up.
That was the end of a retrograde cycle, where today's is the one on December 13th is the beginning of the retrograde cycle. Nice. I like how you put that together.
That's very cool. Very cool. Numbers in astrology, they all work together.
So I mean, I write so much by hand, because when I do my client work, it's all in just a big notebook. I live alone, so it's nice and safe. Nobody gets to read any of the private information. But by the time it comes to journaling, I'm all set. I am not handwriting anything. So I have these are my books. And for those of you who really know me, I always recommend this. I don't make any money from recommending it. Too bad, because I recommend it all the time. It's just Llewellyn's daily planner. And if you're really into astrology, it shows you, it gives you all the dates and all the what's going on every day. And I read out of that when I do like my weekly and my monthly forecast for my membership group. And then you can learn from that too. Oh, sorry, that was a little bit of a commercial, a little bit of marketing.
Oh, that's interesting, because I have one
and
it doesn't make any sense to me. So I need to go to the website and get on your Patreon.
Yeah, because I talk about it. Yeah, I talk about these things.
I can learn more, which is always good. So
it's always good. So the business of this, so I want you to hone in on that. because no matter what's going on in your life, you don't have to be an entrepreneur. And, you know, some people are like, I don't have a career. I don't know what that is. That's okay too. But it's the work that you do that you're proud of, or the work that you want to do so you can build your reputation. All right. Because there's plenty of people out there, again, who aren't career oriented, and that's fine. But what is it that means a lot to you that you want to have support in, or you're looking at how you need that support? You know, I know plenty of people that are raising their families. That's their focus, of course. Raising children is like the most important thing in the world.
Right.
And so you might be feeling that you need a little more support somewhere, whatever it is. I mean, so assign it to, I'm not asking you to make it fit, assign it to your life, because everybody's life circumstances are very different. So career, focus, reputation, like you and I are both, Sue, are entrepreneurs. So we're always doing stuff to make people, help people see us, help people see how we can help you, things like that.
Right.
So that would be this too. We'll be reconsidering things like that. And then, what day does it go? And then it retrogrades back into Sagittarius, you know, and I can't remember the date, but it, you know, that's okay. I talk about that. I have daily forecasts on my YouTube channel where you guys can check that out too, where I talk about just 60-second stuff. Here it is. Somewhere around December 24th, so Christmas Eve, Mercury moves back into Sagittarius, and it will stay, you know, retrograde in Sagittarius all the way until January 1st, and then move forward again, blah, blah, blah. But Sagittarius represents our, especially while it's retrograde, Mercury in Sagittarius, fiery. It's like thinking about education, knowledge, even travel. And do I want to take new classes? Because January is a great time to start new classes. I know all kinds of people begin their year, you know, stepping into something new, to learn something new, whether it takes a year, whatever it is. And you might be considering that. So give yourself some journaling. I really feel it's so important when the retrogrades of Mercury to do some journaling so you can actually see how you're feeling, especially if you don't have somebody to really talk to. You know, you just write it out, and all of a sudden the stuff just shows up, and it's like, I didn't realize I was feeling this way. And so with Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, one of the main focuses will be, it's like integrating information you already have knowledge of. You know, some people just take classes after classes after classes, and they never spend enough. They don't spend enough time, not everybody. They don't spend enough time integrating what they've learned before they move on to the next step. This is an integration time period. Mercury will stay in Sagittarius until January, looks like right around January 15th, approximately 14th or 15th. And so when that, so you will have an opportunity, we will all have an opportunity while Mercury is retrograde in Sagittarius. Actually, it's the 13th. The daily calendar is way more accurate than the big ephemeris in the back. The big ephemeris in the back is GMT, so Greenwich Mean Time. So I didn't feel like doing the math. Here it is. So January 13th, Mercury will move back into Capricorn. So that means for a whole month, Mercury's retrograde in Sag and then moving forward in Sag. One more opportunity for us to reconsider what we're doing with education, with learning, with classes, with our beliefs in any way, whether it is just a college course that you're taking at the local, you know, state college, whatever it is, or even something metaphysical, something spiritual, something to expand your mind. Sag is really encourages that type of behavior, honestly. Yeah.
And that's 2023 is that 7-year, right? So we're ending that. And what is 7? 7 is about research, study, learning, diving deeper into something. And I get the feeling with the Mercury retrograde and the 7 universal 2023 being 7 going into 8, it's almost like we really need to slow down and look within, do some self-reflection to see where we want to burst ahead in the year coming up.
That's a
Because
perfect,
eight,
perfect.
eight is all about accomplishments.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
about, yeah,
Yeah.
it's about, it's a great number. A lot of people think this is a very lucky number. But
Ooh,
again, what goes around comes around, right? So we have to
right.
always be on our up and up, keep everything in the spiritual, and you'll be fine, right?
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
get too deep into the material side of things.
right.
Yeah,
But even
yeah.
finding that balance is probably something that's important too, right? Yeah.
Yes. And I think Mercury will help us do that
Yeah,
if we slow down and let it.
I know. Yeah. I think that to me, that's just in a very mundane way. That's the purpose of the retrogrades. It happens all the time, of course, but that's the purpose of the retrogrades. It gives us that opportunity to sort of sit down and just, process things.
Right.
We have to
Self-reflect.
process things.
I like the
Self-reflection.
word that you use, integrate,
Yeah.
because you're right. We're all going so fast all the time
Mhm.
that it's all very superficial.
Yeah.
And the 7 is not. It likes to integrate. It likes to pull you down and make you look within.
Oh, yeah. I
Is
think I'm in a
is
personal
Mercury
7 year. I think I'm in a personal 7 year. I can feel that. That sucks, man. Doesn't suck. It's work.
Um, is Mercury retrograde always emotional? Because I hear you talk about emotions, or is that the signs that it's in?
It's going to be the signs. Because
Oh,
Mercury
okay.
is information. I think why you hear me say that is because of my own personal Mercury.
Oh.
And so everybody, just through you, through me, we all still interpret what our knowledge is, what we know through our own astrology or our
Right.
own numbers, like
Right,
you.
right.
My Mercury is in Cancer. That's emotion.
Oh.
The moon rules Cancer. So you will find me saying that because that is where I am coming from.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I get that.
Capricorn is self-respect, self-understanding, feeling secure or insecure. That's another thing that we can be tackling while Mercury is retrograde in Capricorn, because Capricorn is those things. It's like, again, reputation and career, business and focus. But we can feel it can stir up the imposter syndrome in a sense, because Capricorn is those things, but sometimes underneath it's very insecure. So that shows up too. Yeah.
Yeah, December is the one month, and that's about new beginnings. Now, I don't necessarily believe that this is the month to really jump out there and start things. I think the starting is going to be in the stepping back and integrating and re-looking at things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. We have opportunities every month for a couple days before the new moon to really reflect. It's the balsamic lunar phase. It's number 8 of 8 phases. Most people only know of 2 or 4 phases of the moon, but it actually has 8. And so we have that opportunity every month. And we have that opportunity in other ways, depending on where planets are in our own charts. So if this Mercury retrograde or any of the Mercury retrogrades, it's just a reminder. The noise of it is a reminder to do like what you said, to slow down and reflect. We can't grow. You can't blow a balloon up and never stop. It will pop. You have to stop and tie it off, right? And that's
catch your breath.
catch your breath and everything else. Yeah, for sure. For sure. What was the other thing? We do have coming up in 2024 a no retrograde period that happens every year. And I believe it starts I don't have it in my head right now. It's in my yearly forecast, which you can go get that too on my website. Somewhere around January 27th. This big ephemeris isn't always clear. So the last few days of January, all of February, all of March is no retrogrades. And I'm only talking about the planets. I'm not talking about the asteroids. I'm not talking about, for those who really know astrology, not talking about the lunar nodes, not talking about asteroids, just the planets. And that is typical right now. Eventually we'll phase out of that for years, but we've been in a phase sort of like this for a few years now. So it's almost 2 months, a little over just 2 months when we have no retrograde. So that's a period where it's full steam ahead.
Full speed ahead.
Full speed ahead. Yeah.
Ooh,
Mhm.
that's a good thing to know. So,
It's a good
so
thing. Yeah, it's a good
yeah,
thing
so
personally.
let Mercury take its grounds and let us look and figure out where we want to be, where we want to go, so that come middle of late January, February, March, we can.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
liking it.
So to me, if I was personally, if I was thinking about creating something that I wanted to begin or launch, if it was like a big program, a big something, again, fill in the blank for what your life is about. I would wait till the end of January to do it, because that means there, gives you an opportunity for growth and movement, right? So I would wait until then, but then I would also look at some other things, like, when's the
I
next
agree
new
with that.
moon and things like that.
The numbers would say that,
Yeah.
because going into an 8 personal year, January would be a 9, and that's not a month to start anything. That's about clearing. That's about clearing things and getting rid of what's no longer serving your greatest and highest good.
Yeah.
But then February, 1 hits.
Yeah.
And that's new beginnings, new people, new energy, clarity.
Yeah, there's a nice new moon on February 9th, which personally works really well with my own sun in Gemini. It works out really well for me. And yeah, that's the Lunar New Year on February 10th, the year of the dragon. Oh, I love dragons. That's a fire.
Oh, wow, nice.
But
Nice.
anyways, we went way far ahead. But yeah, so yeah, final words on this. What do you think?
Yeah, wow. I just believe that this month is to really to slow down and do the self-reflection.
December,
Just
yeah.
really figure out where you've been, where you now, where you want to go, and don't push too hard. The other thing too is health. Sometimes when 7 is around, we have to be careful of our health. We have to just allow ourselves to slow down, or the universe slows us down, and we don't want that. So
this 2023 is a universal 7 year. So that's why you're saying that, right?
Right.
Didn't you have some
Yeah.
other dates like the 21st and things like that? What was that about?
Yes, I had circled the 16th seemed important to me because universally it was a 17/8, and that adds the 1 personal month, the 7 universal year, and the 8 universal year, right?
Oh, yeah.
So all those numbers come together on Saturday, the 16th. And I just feel like that could be a day that it's a strong energy, that it's a good number, 17/8. But it's again one self-reflection because of that 7.
Yeah. I'm curious. What does astrology say for that?
Yeah. Oh, please. Yes.
Well, we're having a meeting on that day, aren't we?
Oh, yes, we are.
Oh, there's just, the sun squares Neptune, but that's late in the day. So that doesn't even, that just slows down the ego a bit. When the sun and Neptune are together, it slows the ego down so we can actually maybe create something. The moon is in Aquarius, which is an analytical thinking processing. So anyways, what about the other one or other ones? You had a couple of them.
The 21st was a 22/4.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a very grounding energy. That's very, talk about emotional. That's highly sensitive energy, 22/4. But it wants you to ground, be very practical, look at things. It's a number where you want to hug somebody, give them some attention. Yeah.
Okay, I was just looking at looking at Mercury when it retrogrades. I mean, when it stations at the end of this retrograde we're speaking of on January 1st. It's at 10 p.m. here on the east coast of the U.S. So it might be January, a different day for others. 22:10. It stops at 22 degrees and 10 minutes. so it's 2210. I was just going to see if it was,
Yes, there you go.
in alignment. It was at 22 degrees though. So that's
And that's on the
interesting.
21st, or that's when it ends,
That's
you said?
January 1st. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. On
So
January 1st when
22
it,
was significant. I just felt like it was a significant, but I also did circle the Christmas Day, the 26th, or which would have been a 26/8 for
Christmas
universally.
Day is the 26th.
No, 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 no. It's the
Oh,
25th. But in my world, it's a 26/8. And again, I
oh,
just felt like that was
okay.
a interesting number. But you
Yeah.
also said that's when it's transitioning.
On the,
It's going into Sagittarius.
that's right. I did say that. Let's find it. Right around I'm looking at the astrology chart instead of us. Somewhere around the 23rd, 24th, 23rd, 24th. It's within I mean, it's not the exact day, but that's all right. It shifts into Sagittarius come on. I'm looking. I'm going 1 hour at a time right now. There
That's
you go.
okay.
It shifts in on the 23rd, December 23rd is when it shifts
23rd.
Sagittarius. Yeah. I really should look at the day forecast, the day report, not the big ephemeris in the back. Sometimes it's a little off again,
Yeah,
GMT.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's telling us what it is over there in the UK, not
Right.
here in the US,
Yeah.
but hey, that's all right. Yeah.
And the reason I circled that one is because of the 8.
Yes.
You know, when numbers come together, we always pay attention. Like you said, there's patterns in everything, right?
Yeah.
So the 16th and the 25th, 16th, 21st, and 25th were, I feel, days that are almost more quieter. Like
Yeah.
emotional, could be some emotions there. And
Mhm.
emotions aren't bad, always bad, right?
Right.
Emotions can be very happy and very
Mhm.
fun and being with everybody.
Yeah. It's joy, happiness, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
what keeps our vibration up, and that's what we all need to be finding, is
We
the
s-
joy and the happiness.
That means
Yeah.
don't have your TV running all that. I've done this
Mhm.
before, and I heard somebody else talk about this just yesterday. It's just like I don't have my TV. I don't turn on news. I read what I want to read. I don't want that
Yeah.
vibration in my house. I just don't.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I can read what I want to read, or if I selectively want to see something,
Mhm.
I can watch
You can
it,
go
but
find it, yeah.
I don't have it like
Right.
I have family members that their TV's on 24/7 because they want the noise.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have dead quiet.
Yeah. No, I don't either.
I'll
I
have
don't either.
solfeggio tones running in the background. It's just
There you go.
vibrations that clear. I don't
Right.
sage. It's just too smoky. So for the smoke detectors, so I just have
Yeah.
vibrational sounds working through. So to me,
And it all
that's the best.
works.
Mhm.
All
Yeah, that
works.
helps
Yeah.
keep the place clear.
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
Dorothy, I want to thank
Wow.
you very, very much
Thank you,
for
Sue.
getting
This
us
was
all ready
wonderful.
for our next Mercury retrograde.
Yeah.
And when's the next one
The one
after
after that.
this? Yeah,
That's what's
March,
it's
I
in March.
bet.
That's what ends the no retrograde period.
Oh,
And that
okay.
is on it looks like it's April 1st, but let's just go look at the daily part of the calendar. Because if it's April 1st, it could be March 31st. Let's double check. It is April 1st. So
Okay.
April 1st is when Mercury goes retrograde next time. And that one will be Aries, all Aries energy. Feisty,
Yeah.
feisty.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's some fighting words. We've got 2024 is very dynamic, and we can already tell it's going to
Yes.
be dynamic because the political
Yeah.
situation in the whole world, honestly, it's not just our country, but it certainly is a mess.
Yes. There's a lot going on, and that's at 8, right?
Yeah.
What comes around goes around. What goes
Yeah.
into the light comes into the dark. We've
Yeah.
got to get some things. We've got to clear some things.
Right. And so every one of us can do it. We'll tidy up with this. Everyone can do
Yes.
this in their own world by
Mhm.
being responsible for yourself. Doesn't mean you can't help out in the world, but let's just
Right.
as Geminis, that's a personal zodiac sign. It's one of the first 4. So it's a personal sign. And that's what I like to focus on. So what I want you and me to do, and all of us listening, is to just do your own work. Do your work. If you are in shadowy work, do the shadow work. Bring it back
Right.
up to the light.
Right.
That figure eight,
That's
right?
it.
Bring it back
That's
up.
how it
So
goes.
we have to do our shadow work. We
Mhm.
have to address things and go through things to just move and grow. And and that is it. And then just bring your own light into the world, whatever that is, whatever
And
that
sometimes
is.
there's just a smile,
Mm-hmm.
opening
Yeah.
a door for somebody. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So if you want a personal year reading in numerology, you can go to Healing Numbers 22, and Dorothy has multiple readings that you can get
Yeah.
on her
Yep.
webpage, which is what? Dorothy Morgan Astrologer, right?
Yes, DorothyMorganAstrologer.com. Yeah. And
Yeah,
lots of free
yeah.
content. Search the same thing and you'll find me. Google will pull out everything up that I have. So
Yeah.
YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and
Yes, but a personal
websites. And
reading
for personal reading, right to the website.
personal reading is everything, because we're looking
Mm.
at the personal chart and we're
Right.
really focusing on you and what's going on in that
Yeah.
year.
Right.
Have
Thank you
fun.
for that reminder. We should bring it
Yeah.
back to that. So yeah, you can
Okay.
do that too. Awesome,
I'll
everybody.
see you later.
Blessings,
Bye.
everybody.
Thank you.
Namaste.